Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Sujood Sahu is something which is a little confusing. Should you do it before salam or should you do it after the salam? All right, so I thought I'd make some notes. By the way, there's a video by Sheikh Sa'idan, which I'll link in the description. He has explained it very well. Um, like on the board and stuff. You can watch that video if you know Arabic. And this Risala of Shaykh Nusaymin also, Risala fi Sujood Sahw, I believe, the small treatise. I think it has been translated into English also. So inshallah, I thought I'd make a video, explaining in detail about Sujood Sahw in English, so that it'll help me also to make notes and help. It'll be a like a reference video. I can send it to anyone, inshallah ta'ala. Or I can see myself if I forget after a few years about Sujood Sahw. If you don't want to watch the whole video, remember this formula, Zabnaq. Right? In short, if you want to know, Zabnaq. The Zai here means for Ziyada, it's Ba'da Salam. And for Naqs, if you're adding something into the Salah, there's a lot of details to that, but generally the sujood is after the salam. Right? You say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If you added two rukus, for example, by mistake, right? You say salam, then go do two sajdas. You say Subhana Rabbil Ala, two sajdas, and normal two sajdas, and julus baina sajdatain, sitting between the two sajdas, and then say salam again. Correct? That is ba'da salam and for ziyada. For ba or for naqs, what you do is you do qabla salam. For zabnaq here, naqs you do qabla salam. Right? For any deficiency in the salah, there'll be qabla salam, before the salam. This is in short. Before the salam, before the taslim, after your tashahud and salah ala nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the dua, whichever dua you're doing. After that, you do two sajdas and then do salam. Right? This is before the salam or after salam. So can you like change it up? Can you do before the salam or can you do after the salam? Some scholars, they've allowed it. Right? Sheikh bin Baz and others, they've said al amru fiha was in this mas'ala. It is was if you do ba'da salam or qabla salam. Sheikh Nufaymin rahimahullah, he says no, there are hadith before the salam as well as after the salam, so you should do appropriately. And inshallah, the amr is inshallah wase. Inshallah, if somebody doesn't know, because it's too confusing to know these issues. That's why the Risala Shaykh Ibn Uthaymin has written. He said it's mandatory because it's wajib, no? Sujood Sahw, to do it qabla salam for naqs, and for ziyada, you should do it ba'da salam, because Rasulullah SAW taught us like that. Right? So we'll go through these notes, inshallah ta'ala. This is Asbab Sujood Sahw. Inshallah, I'll try to give a lot of examples. I'll try to go in very detail because I don't think anybody has explained this in detail in English. I don't know. But anyways, it'll help us also to actually understand the issue. Right? You should also read Sharh Mumti', the third volume. Shaykh Ibn Uthaymin also brings, a lot of details into this of the Sharh of Zad al-Mustaqni'. Okay, there are reasons for such Sujood Sahw. Sujood Sahw was what? You're forgetting something. Sahw means what? Forgetting something. Right? You're forgetting some issue in the salah. It could be you're forgetting or you make a mistake. It's not amdan. If you do something wantedly, generally your salah is batil in wajibat and arkaan. In wajibat and arkaan, in pillars and wajibat is something obligatory. Arkaan and wajibat, you should say. Pillars and wajibat. Correct? If you do it wantedly. So we are not talking about doing something wantedly because that has a separate ruling and all that. This is only for sahw. Not doing it wantedly, unwantedly if somebody is doing by mistake. So this is what. So there are three asbab. There are three reasons for it. One is naqs, and like we said, naqs is qabla salam. Qabla salam for everything. Qabla salam, you have to do such this. So remember, zabnaq rule is like a standard rule, which is a short form to remember, because even I used to get confused, and subhanallah, zabnaq is what I created this acronym kind of, because when you're in salah, imam does a mistake, so everybody's like shocked. What do you have to do? Like in Taraweeh, what happened once? I was not there in the Salah, somebody told me. The Imam, he prayed 3 rakats. So what you have to do, remember Zabna. He added one more raka'ah. So you should just do, taslim, sajdatain, and that's it. There's nothing else. What they did was, they added one more raka'ah, and they prayed 4. You see, 3, and then taslim, and then one more raka'ah. That's not correct, right? That's not correct. They didn't know even, because it's confusing, no? These issues are confusing. So one is Naqs, deficiency. You're removing something, and we'll go into detail. And Ziyada is ba'da salam. You add something. The sujood is ba'da salam. And the shakk, the 2 types of shakk. One is shakk, one is Ghalabatu Zann. Inshallah, we'll go into a little detail into these things. So I'll try to explain, inshallah. Don't worry, because you might have to watch this 2-3 times, because even I remember, it's been going on since years to actually settle this issue, right? To actually understand this issue. Qabla salam or ba'da salam. First, you have to know, before this precursor, you should know the pillars of the Salah. Now, you should know the Arkaan of Salah. Remember, there are 14 Arkaan of Salah. 14 Arkaan of the Salah. What are the 14? If you want to remember, I could make another video of it, but I'm just explaining. 3, 2, and then 3, 4, 2. If you want to remember like that. 3 while standing. One is Takbir al-Tahrima while standing. The second is Qiyam ma'al istita'a, standing if you're able to. The third is Surah al-Fatiha. Yani, Khalf al-Imam or Ba'da, the correct opinion is you have to read in every Salah. La salata liman lam yaqra bi Fatihatil Kitab. There's no Salah. There's a difference of opinion. Khalf al-Imam means Jahriya, but anyways, these are the 3 pillars. Now, 3 in Qiyam. So when you're standing, remember 3. And then 2 in Ruku'. Doing the ruku and getting up from. These are the actions, not the speech. Doing the ruku and getting up from it. You can just search Arkaan Salah, you'll get very simply. But I'm just trying to simplify it. 3, 2, and then 3 for sajda again. Sujood wa raf'u minhu wal jalsatu bayna sajdatain. And sitting between, or julus bayna sajdatain. Sitting between 2 sajdas. Doing sujood and getting up, as well as sitting between 2 sajdas. So 3, 2, 3. How many? 5 and 8. 8 and then 4 for tashahud. That is tashahudul akhir. The last tashahud is a pillar. And then sitting for it. Al-julusu lahu. And then salat ala nabi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. That is compulsory. And the 4th is taslim. Saying assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Some say one taslim is a rukn, the others not. But the correct opinion, inshallah, is both are taslimatan. Both are a pillar. Now, so 4 while you're sitting down. So how many? 3 while standing, 2 for ruku, 3 for sajda, and for julus, that is tashahud al-akhir, they are 4. And they are 4. So 3, 2, 8, 8 and then 4, that is 12. And the remaining 2 is 1, you should have 30. We should do them in order. The second is tamanina, should do it calmly, peacefully. You should not hurry, you should do ruku, sujood, and everything properly. Properly, calmly. So these are the 14 pillars of Salah. Remember, most of them are actions. Actions except Surah Al-Fatiha and Takbiratul Tahrima, as well as Tashahud, 4, Tashahud Al-Akhir and Salah ala Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. These 4 are Qawliyah, speech. Rest all, out of 14, only 4 are speech, the 10 are actions. If somebody does ruku, does not say Subhana Rabbil Azim and gets up, he has missed a wajib. He's done the action, right? So those are the wajibat. So remember the pillars of the Salah. I'm just going to a little detail because many of us might not know the pillars of Salah. So pillars of the Salah are 14, 10 are actions, 4 are words. You can search Arkaan Salah, but those are the pillars. Because you have to know this thing. Now wajibat, most of them are Qawliyah. Most of them are Qawliyah except few. So what is wajibat? Takbirul intiqali. The takbir, which is intiqali, which is moving from one place to another. From ruku to sujood, ruku, you don't go ruku to sujood, but between sajdas, and after standing up, after rafa minas ruku, and all those things are takbir intiqali. From one thing to another, you say Allahu Akbar and go. That is wajib. Obligatory, but it's not a pillar. If somebody misses it, you can do Sujood Sahw. That is not wantedly, of course, unwantedly. And so takbir intiqali is there are 8 wajibat. There are how many? There are 8 wajibat. which you should know. 8 wajibat. One is takbir al-intiqali, then saying Subhana Rabbil Azim, saying Subhana Rabbil Ala. After that, Sami Allah liman hamida, Rabbana wa lakal hamd. There are four, and then Subhana Rabbil Ala is number 5. Rabbi ghfirli, that is number 6. And Tashahudul Awwal, that is At-Tahiyyatu Lillah, and the first tashahud, as well as sitting for it. There's only one action. See, there's only, out of 8, there's only one which is for fi'li. The others are all qawli. Or the others are what? All qawli. Takbir intiqali, Subhana Rabbil Azim, Sami Allah liman hamida, Rabbana wa lakal hamd, Subhana Rabbil Ala, and then Rabbi ghfirli, At-Tahiyyat, that is tashahud, and then the sitting for it, Tashahud al-Awwal. These are 8 wajibat. So now you should be clear about Arkaan and Wajibat. Let's go now. What will happen if you miss these things? Let's talk about deficiency now. Naqs, general rule is qabla salam. Ziyada is ba'da salam, like we said. Then there's shakk. Shakk, where 2 things are similar. So shakk, qabla salam. One shakk is before, like 50-50%. You don't know. Did you pray 3 or did you pray 4? Right? In summary, I'm just saying, we'll go down in more detail. So what do? You do qabla salam. You say, okay, you have to say lesser of these 2. So 3 or 4, you'll take 3 and then you'll pray the 4th one, which could be 5th also, by the way. But you have a shak, you don't know. So you do salam, Sujood Sahw qabla salam. Right? You'll do Sujood Sahw qabla salam. Then this Ghalabatu Zann. You have more, like 80%, you know, I'm correct. So what you'll do ba'da salam. You pray as it is, because you have certainty, almost certainty. You're not fully sure, but 80% I'm sure that, or 90%, or 70%, more than 50%. You're sure. That is called Ghalabatu Zann. It's not called shak, it's called Ghalabatu Zann. Your assumption, you're like more than shak. So you do ba'da salam, because according to your prayer is complete, right? So you'll do ba'da salam, This is in summary. Let's go down to, so remember, Zabnaq, Ziyada, ba'da salam, Naqs is qabla salam. If you do anything extra in the prayer, but we'll go into detail what is Ziyada and what all, because many people get confused about the Ziyada. And Naqs is qabla salam. If you're doing any Naqs, it'll be qabla salam. It'll be before the salam. Okay, let's talk about Naqs. So Naqs could be in Wajibat. So let's talk about Naqs in Wajibat. Remember 8 Wajibat? Again, I'll repeat the Wajibat. Takbiratul intiqali. Right? Takbir intiqali, which is saying Allahu Akbar. That is called takbir. Takbiratul tahrim is the first one. Apart from that, any takbir is takbir intiqali. And then Subhana Rabbil Azim, Sami Allah liman hamida, Rabbana wa lakal hamd, Subhana Rabbil Ala, Rabbi ghfirli. And then At-Tahiyyat, the first one, Tashahud al-Awwal, and then sitting for it. If somebody stands, we'll get into that. So if somebody misses, it's a Naqs of Wajibat. How, for example, he forgets to say Allahu Akbar from one sajda to another. He forgets to say Subhana Rabbil Azim. He forgets to say Sami Allah liman hamida. Right? So there are 3. There are several situations in that. Let's try to understand. Man taraka wajiban wa fata mahallahu fasujuduhu qabla salam. So let's take an example of Tashahud al-Awwal, because it's more easier to understand. So after 2 rakahs, you have to sit down. No, that's called Tashahud al-Awwal. So what do? You're sitting, but you didn't actually get up. So that's the first situation. And yatadhakkara qabla fawati mahalliha. Its place, you're like almost getting up. You didn't get up. You're almost getting up. You remember, oh, I did not do tashahud. So what do? You sit down. There's no sujood on you, because you didn't actually change your position. So you're just sitting. You were about to get up. You didn't get up. So no fala sujood ali. There's no problem in it, because you did not do any mistake. The second thing is وَإِذَا تَذَكَّرَ أَثْنَاءَ قِيَامِهِ, while he's getting up. So while he's getting, oh, I forgot my tashahudul awwal. So what do? You have to sit down. And then you have to do at-tahiyyatu lillah, tashahudul awwal. You have to do it, because it's a wajib, no? It's from the wajibat. So he'll ya'til wajib wala sujuda alayh. There's no sujood on him. Oh, sorry. There is sujood on him. Was sujudu qabla salam. He'll do before the salam, because it's a naqs, no? It should be before the salam. Okay? It should be before the salam. So you are doing this, and you remember, why are you doing sajda then? You might get a question. So some scholars says there's no sajda here because you did whatever was required. Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen says, from what I remember, he said, because you added that getting up in between and then you sat down. No, for that we are doing sujood. Anyways, this is mahallul ikhtilaf. Some say there's no sujood and some said, but as of now we'll take, because athna qiyamihi, during his standing, he remembers. So sit down. Now what happens is when you stand up totally, after 2 rakahs, you stand it as, and then you said, Bismillah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, you started Surah Al-Fatiha itself. Then you remembered, I forgot the first tashahud. So will you come down now? No, you won't come down. Man tadhakkara ba'da al-fawati fa'alayhi sujudu faqat. There's only sujood on him, because you cannot, once that place is gone, for wajibat, you cannot come back from a rukun to a wajibat. So you should do sujood qabla salam. Because lianna rukna a'zamu min al-wajibat. Because the pillar is more stronger. You cannot cancel the pillar and then go back to the wajibat. Because many people, when they remember, after the qiyam, when they remember, they go back and do the sujood again. So you should not do the julus again. Tashahud, for tashahud al-awwal. You should not do that. Because it's wajibat. Wajibat, if you miss it mistakenly, while changing, if you remember, then you have to sit down. But totally going upstairs, I'm not upstairs, but totally changing into a rukun, then you need not come down, just sujood is there. Okay, this is the short version. I'm not short, but this is the for wajibat. Naqs, deficiency in wajibat. 8 wajibats. If you forget Subhana Rabbil A'la, anything. Subhana Rabbil A'la, for example, in the sajda, you remember in your sajda itself, then it's fine. While getting up, if you remember, then you have to go back to the sajda and say Subhana Rabbil A'la, like almost while getting up. But if you are already sitting between 2 sajdas, then no need. If you forget, I just got up like that, then you should just do sujood. Remember, for all the 8 wajibat. This is, and the dalil for this is the hadith of Salla bina Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam faqama fi rak'atayn al-ulayn. So his Rasul also forgot the tashahudul awwal. So he was sajada qabla an yusallim. So the point is here. And he did sajda qabla salam. He did sajda qabla an yusallim. He did salam before salam, this thing. Thumma rafa, before the salam. Right? This is our point. This is the dalil, and if you want to see from where it is in Abdullah Bukhari's hadith. The Rawi is Abdullah ibn Malik ibn Buhayna. Rasul forgot the tashahud. So we have a clear evidence for this. So wajibat, if you miss, do qabla salam. So there are 3 situations of wajibat. I hope it is clear, inshallah ta'ala. So let's close off wajibat. Let's go to Arkaan. Pillars are more strong now. If he forgets one sajda, for example, remember 14 Arkaan, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, right? I mean, last 2 anyways, you cannot forget. But if you change up the order and all that, everything goes away. Rukun is very important. Man taraka rukran ja'a biha or ja'a bihi. This is a space here. Wa bima ba'dahu wa sujuduhu qabla salam. And there's an ikhtilaf here. Should it be ba'da salam or qabla salam? But Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen's opinion is correct. Zabnaq rule. Any naqs, you have to do qabla salam. Because we'll bring the dalil and we'll explain why it is happening. So, man taraka ruknan ja'a bihi. Whoever leaves a pillar, like 14 pillars, he leaves it. I mean, except takbirat ihram anyways, he's not even started. If he leaves Allahu Akbar, he's not started it. But apart from that, ruku, sujood, standing up from it, or sitting between 2 sajdas, that's also pillar. So what he should do, he should come back to it. For example, you forgot one sajda, you got up, and you started Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Oh, I forgot one sajda. So you have to go back. Actually, you have to sit between 2 sajdas, because sitting is also, you forgot that also, no? Sitting between 2 sajda, you have to say Rabbi Ighfirli, and then go back and do the second sajda, and then get up. Correct? That is when you've actually got up, you have to bring back the rukun. You cannot like skip it, because it's not like wajibat. Oh, I'll just do sajda sahu. No, this cannot repair it. Correct? That is one situation. Second situation is your second rakah, you actually started it, and then you remembered, you went into sajda now. That time you remembered. So what do you have to do? You have to go back to it? No. That time you'll cancel the first rakah. That is totally gone. and then you'll consider the second rakah as the first rakah, right? And then second becomes first, third becomes second, and so on. And some scholars say you have to bring back the first rakah, but inshallah, this is the correct opinion. Inshallah, you have to go back to the first rakah, because sometimes you might happen that after 4 rakahs, you'll remember, oh, I didn't do, one sajda. So some say you have to go back to the first rakah sajda, because everything after that, they've cancelled it. You see? But inshallah, the correct opinion is the first rakah itself cancelled, the second, third, then you do another rakah and do salam after sajda after the salam. I hope it is clear. So the dalil is here, this is a long hadith. This is Dhul Yadain hadith, where Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam prayed 2 rakahs and he forgot. Now this is a confusion, right? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in this hadith, this is also in Bukhari, he prayed 2 and then after that he added 2. Right? Somebody said you only prayed 2, then he prayed 2. So should he do it before the salam or after salam? Our mind goes, this is Naqs, no? This is Naqs. This is a deficiency. Correct? So he should do before the salam. But remember, this is actually a Ziyada. You might be like, why did I bring a dalil for Ziyada? Because how is it a Ziyada? After 2 rakahs, he's added a taslim. So the scholars, they answer that because it's a Ziyada, because he brought 2 and then brought 2. He brought everything properly. He just added in the second, after the second, a taslim. So this, he's done it after the salam. After the salam. So he says, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, after the salam, here, ما ترك ثم رفع رأسه وكبر ثم كبر وسجد مثل سجوده أو أطول ثم رفع رأسه وكبر فربما سألوه ثم سلم. He said, then you do salam? Yes. Then he said, did salam. ثم سلم. So, Assalamu alaikum, and then did 2 sajdas again, and then says, Assalamu alaikum. This is in Bukhari. This is in Bukhari. So, actually, this dalil is for Ziyada. Ba'da salam. Because I did not find any dalil of taraka ruknan qabla salam. So, many of the scholars, they take this hadith, also some said, and so they said Ba'da salam. But inshallah, the correct opinion from what we understand is, for naqs of a rukn also, it is qabla salam. Qabla salam. Because we said for the 4 rakahs, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam added something. It's an evidence for Ziyada. It's not an evidence for qabla naqs. But anyways, we don't, I did not find where a rukn was left and he did qabla salam. But this is the correct opinion. For naqs, for arkaan, we should do qabla salam only. How about sunnahs? You leave sunnahs. For example, raising your hands. 4 places you should raise your hands, no? Takbiratul tahrima, qabla ruku, ba'da ruku, before the ruku, after the ruku, and al-qiyam ba'da thaniya, and getting up after the second rakah. Correct? After you, when for the third rakah you stand, you raise your hands. Then these are the 4 sunnahs. And other sunnahs, for example, qira'atul surah ba'da al-fatiha, reciting surah, any surah after fatiha, you forget, you've gone. So what should you do sajda sahw for that also? Sujood Sahw for that? Yes, but it's not compulsory. It's a sunnah. It's a sunnah, and there are 2 conditions. You have to do it mistakenly, leaving that sunnah which you are always doing, and then it should be habitual. You always have a habit, because in your heart it's incomplete. So some scholars say there's no Sujood Sahw for this, but inshallah, from what we understand, it is sunnah. If a person does it, it's fine. If a person doesn't do it, it is fine. Yushra'u sujood sahw li sunnatin fa'atat sahwan, which has been gone sahwan min al-mu'tad fi'luha, min al-mu'tad fi'liha. Whoever is used to doing it, he has always habitual. 2 conditions, should do it sahwan and mu'tad. He should do it qabla salam, because this is also naqs. This is also naqs. So with this, naqs is done. Naqs, remember, in summary, wajibaat, qabla salah, wajibaat, if 3 situations, right? If you're sitting, remember, no problem. If while you're doing, then you do qabla salam, as well as, if you totally forget, then no need to come back to it. You can just totally stand and continue salah. You can just do qabla salam. Rukun, you have to bring back the rukun, and depends. If you're totally come back, like total degree rotation, then you'll cancel the rakah, right? Or if you're in between, then you'll come back to it. This is for leaving Arkaan. Sunnahs, it is Sunnah. If you want to do it, you can. Let's come to Shakk. Shakk, again, is divided to two types. One is Shakk. You'll do Qabla Salam. Shakk 50-50%. Do it before the Salam. This is the Dalil. Rasulullah says, إِذَا شَكَّ أَحَدُكُم مِّن فِي صَلَاتِهِ فَلَمْ يَدْرِ كَمْ صَلَّى ثَلَاثًا أَمْ أَرْبَعًا. It does not do 3 or 4. فَلْيَطْرَحِ الشَّرْكِ. You should leave the Shirk and you should alama stayqan, on the yaqeen. That means you should take 3. Then ثُمَّ يَسْجُدُ سَجْدَتَيْن قَبْلَ أَن يُسَلِّمْ. Before he says Salam. This is for Shakk 50-50%. Now this hadith is in what? Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Sahih Muslim. And that will be, for shaitan, it will be disgrace, kind of. Then there's Ghalabatu Zann. What is Ghalabatu Zann? 80%, 70%. We talked about it, no, in summary. And you should do Ba'da Salam because you know it. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, فَلَمَّنْ تَقَلَى فَلْيَتَحَرَّ sawab, he said. This hadith, this is in Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, and this is the Abu Dawud. So he said, فَلْيُتِمَّ عَلَيْهِ ثُمَّ لِيُسَلِّمْ ثُمَّ لِيَسْجُدْ سَجْدَتَيْن. This is after the Salam. This is after the Salam for Ghalabatu Zann. So remember, if Shakk is 50-50, you do before the Salam because you don't know, because there is Shakk in your heart. Ghalabatu Zann, you have more certainty. So according to your prayers complete, so you do Ba'da Salam. For Shakk, these are the two rulings. Let's come to Ziyadah. Shakk, I didn't go into much detail because it's just before Salam, after Salam. Shakk and Ghalabatu Zann. A Ziyadah. Now Ziyada, extra, you're doing something extra. Remember Naqs, something which was required to do, you did not do. Ziyada, you're adding something else. And first thing is, Laysat min jinsi salah. It's not from the type of salah. It's not from the jins of salah. There's not sujood, it's not ruku, it's not takbir, anything. It's like moving, scratching, in these things. So there's no sujood for it, except that إذا كانت حركاته كثيرة. If it is mutawaliya, there are two conditions. If it's too much scratching and it's continuous scratching or whatever, it could be anything, then his salah is gone. And the dhabit for that, the condition for that, or how do you know his salah is gone? Like if a person sees someone and he thinks that he's not in salah, that means his harakat is a lot. And there are various details. You can read Shah Mumtaz Shakk Nufaymin. He goes into a lot of details about that. Like it is necessary or something, like salah, was he forced to do it? Because sometimes Rasulullah in Nawafil, he opened the door also in the salah and other things. So, but general rule is if it's kathira or mutawaliya. If it is a lot of harakat and it is continuous. Because sometimes it could be a lot of harakat, but just one time. So that time salah is fine. Like killing a snake, for example. Like somebody in a salah, he has to kill a snake. It's not from the jinsu salah, right? That is there. So kathira mutawaliya, his salah itself is, so there's no sujood on it. Now ziyada min jins salah. He adds something which is a part of salah, but he brings into another places. For example, instead of saying subhana bil azim, he says subhana bil ala, for example. So it becomes into two types again. Ziyada qawliyah, ziyada which is speech based. Qawliyah, he says, he recites Fatiha marratain, 2 times. So he'll go into 2 types. Now, then he does it wantedly. Fala sujood alayh. There's no sujood on him because, he's doing it wantedly. Because sometimes, like in ruku and sujood, it's legislated also. Mashru'. Saying subhanallah bil azim more than 3 times, 10 times, like that. And then sahwan, if he does, he should do sujood ba'da salam. So remember, ziyada is always zabnaq. Zabnaq is always ba'da salam. So sahwan, if he adds something, then it is sujood ba'da salam. By mistake, he recites these things. There's a sujood ba'da salam. Some bring any ziyada qawliyah, fala sujood alayh. This is come from Ibn Abbas Radhiyallahu speech that only ziyada fi'liyah is a problem. Ziyada qawliyah, that is speech. You add something, there's no sujood on it, but some scholars say there's sujood ba'da salam. Anyways, you can look into this ziyada qawliyah. If somebody adds something in his salah, which is qawliyah, speech. So is there sujood or not? But as per the Shaykh and others, there is sujood if he adds it forgetfully. And that is for speech, something you add, which is from the jins of salah. You're not speaking, because takallum, tahadduth, with speaking to people and all that, your salah itself is gone. This is from jinsu salah. Now, jinsu salah. you add something else. Because you bring the required thing, but you add something else. Then there's Ziyada fi'liya, again, amdan. He does 2 rukus, for example. 4 sajdas, for example, in 1 rakah. Then batala salatuhu. His salah itself is gone. Because he's doing it wantedly. And sahwan, he should do it ba'da salam. This is forgetfully, he does 2 rukus. Because it's an extra, no? And this is a hadith also. I didn't bring the dalil here. Rasul once prayed 5 rakahs. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And then he did ba'da salam. He did ba'da salam. Now, the sujood he did ba'da salam. So this is the story of Sujood Sahw. Inshallah, you can refer other books, but I'll start in short, in just half an hour or something. I'll explain. So remember, inshallah, any questions, you can post it in the comments or you can ask, inshallah. If I understand the question, I'll post it. But this is the story. If you want to remember, zab naq, ziyada ba'da salam, naqs qabla salam. That is the standard rule. And then shakk, the 2 types of shakk, shakk qabla salam, ghalabatu Zann ba'da salam. This is the story. This is a summary of Sujood Sahw. Inshallah, there are a lot of differences of opinions and a lot of details into it. But some people do, like Ahnaf, they do it in an there's no tashahud, by the way, after Sujood Sahw. So the Ahnaf, what they do, from what I've seen in my childhood and others, they do the tashahud, they say Assalamu alaikum, and then they go back to do sajda 2 sajdas, and then they bring the tashahud again. I don't know any dalil for that. And there's no dalil. This is the only way. This is the only way, which is qabla salam, ba'da salam. And like we said, some scholars have said that it's allowed for both qabla salam or ba'da salam. It's allowed, but this is the correct opinion according to the hadith. And this thing that if you know if there's naqs, you should do qabla salam. If it is ziyada, you should do ba'da salam. If it is shakk, it depends. Shakk, qabla salam, ghalabatu Zann ba'da salam. Barakallahu feekum. Jazakallahu Khairan. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.